want to talk about one of the major mistakes I'm seeing druids make. I see this all of the time. For instance, you might be happy with your build. You might be having like, okay, I'm hitting good damage, I'm survivable, all of that. But then you just don't have very much spirit essence. And for whatever reason, while you're satisfied with the damage output when you can output it, you're not getting the output as often as you would like because your spirit generation is just so low. So in this video, I'm going to give you 3 major ways in which we can increase our spirit generation as a druid in order to increase our damage per second. In fact, there's even a way to make it where the abilities cost no spirit generation or no essence at all. You can just spam freely. And you're probably curious about that, so let's answer that one first. If you look at the weapon here, now if you're running a werewolf build, this is specifically for this one, but we'll talk about how this can change for every build here. The Grizzly Rage shapeshifts you into a dire werewolf. As a dire werewolf, you gain 50% movement speed and 100% spirit cost reduction bonus. So if you're on a two-handed, this is normally capped at 50% with a maximum roll. Because it's on a two-handed doubles, and it's 100% spirit reduction. So if I'm running the Tornado Werewolf build, for instance, and I have this on a two-hand, when my Grizzly Rage is up, which is a big part of the build, this is specifically what we're trying to do, and we can actually extend that by having the extension here through Calamity, and then we can try to get it to reset as much as possible with the Calm Before the Storm. When this is up, I can spam infinitely. Now, if you're aware of the Earthen Might skill, what this does is actually restore all of your spirit and causes your attacks to be guaranteed crits for 5 seconds, and when you actually crit, then it increases the chance for this to proc again, so you can see the synergy. But there's also a ring for this, where your Earthen Might passive applies to your storm skills. So if you are actually running a build that is doing either, let's say, like Nature's Fury, where you're running both Earth as well as storm skills, this might be of interest to you. Or if you're running a build like I am that's using Tempest Roar in order to make your werewolf skills storm as well, this one also might be of interest to you. For instance, I'm running that myself in order to make my werewolf build work for the fact of Earthen Might. There's also this aspect which can be very useful. It's the aspect of the Umbro. So if you see this one, you might want to hang on to it. What it does is it gives you primary resource, either spirit generation, whatever it is your character actually uses, every time you crowd control an enemy. Which is actually quite good, because if you actually look at the skill sets, for instance, you can apply slow or vulnerability on some of your abilities, as well as if you are running the earth skills, you can apply slow on your earth skills. And that's actually an aspect. So you can use this straight from the codex here and get this from a codex one and guarantee, and you can put this on boots or basically almost anything you want here. And for that reason, now we have a way of crowd controlling, because if you look at the way that crowd control works, it actually counts from a slow. And you can see that by just going down here to crowd control enemies. And it says crowd control also is affected by slow, immobilize, stun, knockback, etc. So slow would be one of those. There's also a pair of boots that applies chill as well, the unique boots. If you look at these here, the Pentient Greaves, these apply chill, which also counts as a crowd control. So even if I don't have the slow built into it, I can slow people just from the chill. They get crowd controlled from following me, and I am getting bonus primary resource from that. So it's another aspect that will work for this. We can also get primary resource from a Paragon board. It's the Ancestral Guidance one, the one that gives you damage from increasing your spirit. On this board as well, right here, you can see maximum spirit increase, but you also get spirit on kill, and you can take some more spirit on kill through these as well, which is very important, because as you're slaying through the mobs, this is going to, you one-shot a mob with, let's say, Pulverize and a Werebear, you're going to get some of that resource back. Now, there is other ways that we can get it as well. There's like a unique that you get just from clearing the campaign, the Mother's Ring, basically. And that ring as well, Mother's Embrace here. Well, if your core skill hits 5 or more enemies, so if you have a core skill that's a big AoE, for instance, like not necessarily Tornado one, but like a Pulverize, you can also get some of your core resources back as well. There's also a super rare unique, one of like the 1 in a billion lottery ones that reduces how much your core skills cost as you go through. You're probably not going to get that one, however, so it's not something I can recommend going for. But if you're struggling with damage output because you're running out of spirit, then the ways that I recommend this is trying the legendary aspects like the Umbro Ring I'm talking about. If you're doing a werewolf, you can use the Grizzly Rage with Dire Werewolf on a 2-hand in order to reduce it. You can use the Mother's Embrace you get just from clearing the campaign, though there are better options in this spot. You can use Earthen Might in your skill tree, and if you're using a Storm or Nature's Fury, then you can add that essence in that makes this work also with Storm skills in order to generate and get yourself more Fury. And then obviously we have the Paragon boards as well that you can get this from. So hopefully this helped. Do consider trying this out if you're having problems with spirit generation, and I will see you guys on the live stream.